Hey guys, welcome to the Nerd Vine. This is Pradeep Chaudhary, and in this video, we'll be starting with Fast API, how to develop a Fast API, or what are the concepts behind writing up RESTful API using Fast API, what are the benefits behind it. We'll be like covering all of those, including like how to push logs to a Elk instance, uh, some kind of Neuralink integration or some other tool integration to collect telemetry data and so on. So in this video, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating the directory structure for our API. So we'll be creating the required files like the environment YAML file to manage the virtual environment that we'll be creating in the second part of this video. Then like the readme.md files, the main API files, and like any other file that you might be requiring. So second step is second thing in the video we'll do is we'll create a virtual environment using the environment.yaml file, and we'll import all the required dependencies in the environment.yaml file while creating our virtual environment. So let's get started with our fast API. So let me open a command Linux terminal. So I'm using a Linux operating system. So if you guys are using a Windows operating system, you can use command prompt or PowerShell, like whichever you prefer. I already have conda installed in my machine. So if you don't have conda installed, make sure you have that installed first. If you want me to make a video on the conda installation, drop me text in the comment. So I would cd into the documents directory. This is my preferred directory of working. You can use any directory that you want. So apart from that, I would be using VS Code as my preferred text editor. So first up, I would create directory fast API for our API, then would cd into that, then would create a directory called app for this will the app directory will have all our required files for the API that we'll be needing, including the environment YAML, readme.md. If you have any config file, any properties file, whatever you might need, would go into this app directory. So let's see into the app directory, and here we'll create a directory called API, which will have our main script files, which will be .py files. Let me go ahead and create the directory first. Then I would go ahead and I would create the environment.yaml file. So this would have all our required dependencies that we might need for our API. So apart from that, we would need the readme.md file, which this would have all the required documentation that we would need, so that like having a readme.md file is a really necessary thing in a project. Like you would not be the only one working in the project. If someone tomorrow comes and wants to make some changes to the code, like if you don't have a readme.md file, he has to figure everything out from scratch again. So it's always better to have a readme.md file. So now let's do a ls. Sorry, and we have our required files. So let's start with this files. Will keep on adding in the files as we require. So I would open that fast API folder in VS Code. So this is the folder. Okay, let me go ahead and open it again. Okay, something is wrong. Let me go ahead and again. Open folder, documents, fast API. Okay, now it works. Okay, so in the app directory, we have our environment.yaml file and our readme.md file. So now let's go ahead and let's specify all the required dependencies that we would be needing for our API. So in the environment.yaml file, we'll first specify the name of our virtual environment. I'm naming it Fast API Demo. You can call it anything you want. Which channel this virtual environment should be visible to. We'll keep this as a default. Then what all dependencies are required in our virtual environment. So first we'll be needing Python 3.7.5 is the preferred version that I go with. If you the newest version is I guess 3.9 or something. So like you can, depending on your requirement, you can go with any Python version that you want. Then we would be going with pandas. Like more or less every project needs pandas in Python. So we'll go ahead and include that as well. Then we'll include the pip package manager in our virtual environment. So pip is basically the installer, the Python installer, and like most of the packages that you would be installing in Python has to be installed using pip. So we will be including that into the virtual environment. Then inside under pip, what all packages will be installing using the pip package manager. First is the FastAPI framework that we would be using to build our API. We would be using the FastAPI version 0.61.1. So this is the most stable version when I'm making the video. Like if you have a more stable version while you're um, writing your code, go ahead and use that. So apart from that, we would be using the UVCon WSGI server. Um, then we would be using code timing. So like we'd be needing we'd be needing this library. Like for example, if you want to time a particular ETL operation from some database, we might need to time that. So uh, it's a very handy library. So we'll be importing that. Then we'll be needing request library more or less. So let's go ahead with this dependencies first. We'll be adding or updating this virtual environment if we need more dependencies. So we'll we'll maintain the readme.md file in the simultaneously, like it's a good practice. So like fast API demo, just give a description, then like uh, for creating the virtual environment. So what all commands we have to run to create the virtual environments. So we would be needing the conda env create dash f environment.yaml file, YAML file, and then to activate the environment, conda activate your conda environment name. So let's go ahead and let's run this commands. So So it will collect the metadata, then it will install all the required dependencies. So this particular step will take sometime like 5 to 10 minutes. So what I would be doing is I would be pausing the recording for now, and I would resume once it's done. Now our environment has been created, so we'll go ahead and we'll activate the environment. To activate the environment, we simply need to do contact with first API demo or like whatever your virtual environment name is. And we can see the previously the virtual environment was based. Now the virtual environment is fast API demo. So let's go ahead and let's check the Python version once. So we have Python 3.7.5 as we expected. So in the next video, we'll go ahead and we'll write our main.py in the API directory with all the required dependencies imported and creating our first get route. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share with your fellow colleagues or friends. Thank you.